Mhm.
Dream Crusher!
Don't believe in aliens, they're never going to land. Don't believe in cryptids, they leave footprints in the sand. Don't believe in spirits appearing from the dead. The only demons out there are living in your head. Dream Crusher, the Lord of non-belief. If you can't prove it, no one can get ready for the dream. Rotating, skeptic, we all know what that means. He's lurking in the shadows and crushing on your dreams. Dream Crusher, the Lord of non-belief. If you can't prove it, no one can get ready for the dream. Rotating, skeptic, we all know what that means.
Hello, everyone. Look at this. We got a new studio. Not really. It's just I finally got everything set up at home where everything actually works because I had some issues. I tried to do this before, but I couldn't. But you are in my fortress of nerddom. So welcome. Donna is not here. She is away for the weekend. Actually, for the last couple of days, she's taking care of some business. So actually, what happened today is I asked Tim Vickers to fill in for Donna, and he said yes. And then I also had this idea that we haven't had 3TS in a while. That last time it was my fault because I just totally dropped the ball. So I figured tonight we'd do that. But before we get to get the guys on, we're going to go through and just say hi to a few people. I did see that. Oh, look at this. Laura B. Hi, I've missed a few. Been on holiday. Good to see you. Member for 10 months. Awesome. Thank you so much. So let me say hi to some people. I'm going to go through real quick. There's the Occult Life Media. Nice. Ladies Fright. Sherry Ann W. Oh, nice. Bobana. Friday House is here. Awesome. We got Shauna. We got Ray J. Wench. We got, I think, Cat Max is here. Is Cat Mac here? I'm looking. Richard Demio. Oh, I'm going to screw these names up. I'm going to be drinking a lot tonight. Cat Matt. There it is. Date night. Ross Side Paranormal. We got Pump is in the house. That's awesome. Good to see you. Looking through real quick. I'm just going to run through because I really want to get to the conversation because I think it'll be Paranormal Brew. Oh, number 4 is here. Nice. Okay. think Tanya Phillips is here. Nice to see you. All right, I'm going to get to the rules because we have to do the rules, and I'm going to make sure because we got Tim's. This lets you know that Tim is in the background controlling a lot of stuff when I got the TARDIS up. Let's see. All right, the rules are number 1. You are encouraged to ask questions, especially when it's open mic night or when we're having a discussion. Please ask questions. That's what the show is about. It's a learning show. Rule number 2 is that I and we don't know everything. So just understand that. We will try to answer your questions, but if we can't, maybe we'll look them up if we have time. But if we can't, maybe we'll get back to you in a little bit. Or we might actually just say, I don't know, and have to leave it at that. Rule number 3 is that we use the Patrick Swayze rule here. And even though Donna is not here, Tim will boot your ass. And also, Dave's in the background too. And I don't know if Dave has control either. So he might boot your ass too, just because he wants to be spiteful. Rule number 4 is that if you do have a question, please do us a favor and put a capital Q in front of it. That way we can pick it out from the rest of the conversation going on. And then rule number 5 is my favorite, and that's drink up. I got my Wawa tea. All right. With that said, I'm going to bring on the boys. There they are. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Howdy.
All righty.
I was watching this this chat scroll by at an amazing speed going, uh-oh. I'm watching for cues going, oh no, I'm gonna have to talk and just focus on this.
Well, I'm gonna keep watch too and see if we see if I can do this or if we can do this together. I don't know. But tonight the reason I wanted you guys to come on, because earlier today I was going through some stuff and writing up things, and there was a video that I did, a Walking Thoughts video that I did the other day, and it was about experience, and also about methodology, mostly about experience, like combined experience. And I had an issue with people and or groups that claim like a ridiculous amount of years of experience when they say like 120 combined years of experience. And I have an issue with that. And somebody in the comments brought up some points that we were going back and forth with, and I figured it would be better to actually address them here in an open conversation than try to type out everything, because it would be long. It would be very, very long, and I just did not want to. I feel bad saying it. I want to say I didn't want to waste all day writing up a response when I know that if we talk about it, we have a discussion, we can do this in an hour or two and have a really good discussion, and I can get 2 different perspectives in addition to my own about this. And I think that's just a better way to respond to the comments that were made. So the 2 topics are the accumulated experience and then proper, quote unquote, proper investigative methods. And to give you context for that, the investigative methods, I was basing some comments. I said something about using proper investigative methods when looking into things. Oh my God, Tim's got a bunch of notes already.
Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and get it ready.
So, and it came up about, what was proper investigative methods. And I usually base what I do against the stereotypical ghost hunter. So that means like what I see on TV, what I see when I go on the pay-to-play ghost hunts, how I see them, quote unquote, investigate, which I don't think they're actually investigating. I think they're doing something else, but not investigating the claims and the mystery. So with that said, with those topics out, this is pretty much a Three Tortured Souls episode of this show. So I'm going to open it up to opening statements. And first, I'm going to go over to Tim first.
Oh, this is my favorite type of show anyway. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to do it. I like that. So at some point last night, you're like, guys, I got a show idea, which is so on brand for us. So yeah, I just thought this is going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. I think we've probably talked over a little bit. I don't think we've really hashed on it hard about years of experience because, we've talked about years of experience doing what exactly? And is it years of experience that is training and education part of your years of experience, or just going out into the field and walking around and asking questions with one of those R60s? Is that what that is? The
ER60.
Yeah, not even knowing about it. And and on the other side, though, if they're going out and there's lots of experience and they go back and they actually take time to look at their methods and they change their methods and they think, this stuff isn't working and we could figure out a different way. If that's the type of experience that they're doing, then I think that that's a progressive, that's a learning curve type of thing. And they're doing that experience in a good way. But if you just do the same thing over and over and over and over again, is it really experience?
Yeah. Are you gaining any more?
Yeah.
Or is it just a circle? You're just going around circles. Awesome. Dave?
Yeah, good topic. I know we've talked about some of these a little bit before, but it'll be nice to dive in deep and then wrap the couple things together. Combining your experience, I've seen that done. I've seen it done in the corporate world, but it's typically kind of a marketing thing. What are your years of experience? What do you define as a year of experience? Because let's look at a typical resume, for example. Let's say you have 5 years experience in a certain role. Okay, fine, fair enough. But there's certain skills and things you've learned and stuff you've done in that. But remember, you're going to work minimum probably 40 hours a week, right. 52 weeks a year minus vacation or something. So you start looking at it from that point of view, and it's like, okay, if you're doing this 1 or 2 hours on a weekend, what is that? Another thing is your experience in your education. 120 plus hours for a bachelor's, another 30, 50 or so for a master's, and then you're looking, a PhD could be another 60 or 90 plus on top of a bachelor's. So I think it all depends on, what are you saying is your years of experience? I think there's some maybe some funny math going on there.
Right.
So if you start adding it up, I'm not really sure. And what are you really doing? Are you learning? Are you going out and doing things? Are you learning from your experience? What are you doing? And then the number of investigations a year. We were running some numbers math beforehand, and we can talk more about that, but it's almost impossible if you're trying to do anything that's worthwhile and proper. And then, what's the proper investigative methodology? We'll get more into that. I think it all depends on what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Are you trying to solve a mystery? Are you testing a hypothesis? Are you collecting data? Are you going to write a paper? Or are you going to make a fun YouTube video? It all depends on what you're trying to do. And that's a good question, though. What is a proper investigative methodology?
Right.
So.
I'm hoping that we can spend the first hour just go through experience and talk about some of that, maybe hit some questions from the comments and stuff, and then the second hour come back, talk about the investigative methods. But I agree, like the quick and dirty math would be like, if you base, I think the last time we had this conversation,
yeah, it was fun.
We actually based it on like your career. So if you work an average of 40 hours a week, which that goes up and down, like I average about 60 hours a week, and that's just because I love my job and I'm constant. I mean, I'm working.
Your boss isn't watching.
Shh. I love my job. Wink, wink. But if you go by 40 hours a week, and if you go into 52 weeks a year, if you don't take vacation, you're talking about over 2,000 hours a year. Mm-hmm. So 2,080 hours. Like, of course, you minus any vacation, but you also add any overtime. Because, I mean, I came from a background where a lot of my employment had overtime, like tons of overtime. So it was already 50, 60 or plus hours a week that I was doing. But if you go, and I'm going to use the example, Dave, that you alluded to, like if you go out every weekend and maybe spend 5 hours
mm-hmm.
at a place doing a quote unquote investigation, then you're only down to 260 hours. And that's if you do it every weekend, every single weekend. And I don't see groups doing that. I see, you know, maybe once a month or maybe every other week, if that. So where does the experience come from? Like time wise, I guess. Like what do we call if I guess if you say I have 5 years experience or 10 years of experience doing this, but you've only gone on ghost hunts maybe 4 or 5 times each year, does that really count as a year of experience?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I know everybody agrees with my math superiority, but I went ahead and ran with we were just roughly looking at something that came up with 1,000 investigations over 20 some years. So I'm thinking if each investigation is 4 hours, that's 4,000 hours. I know I didn't have to use a calculator.
Okay, so you're at 2 years.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
I divided that by 24 to see how many days that is. Now, of course, that's a solid 24-hour day. So you could still break that up, but that's 167 days. So even if you know, I'm still working on the math to figure out, which I will. I'm just doing it in my head. That's why it's so hard. So it's still, you know, you say 20 some years and 1,000 investigations, but if you just average 4 hours an investigation, that's 167 days, 24-hour days. And then you could double that and probably, I don't know, but that's 167 days of in the field work that you have after 20 some years. I think my math reflects that correctly. Dave, you can help out if you wish, but
You're the expert, Tim. I'll let you go.
I know.
Sounds good to me.
We're all aware. Oh, there's another cue. Hold on.
Just like
Got it.
college, they'll run it twice to make sure.
I will.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got to not just being on site, but what are they doing outside of that? Are they reviewing the stuff and reviewing it? Fine. I can watch video too, but you know what? I guess you're gaining experience that way, listening to recordings. Are you actually analyzing anything? I guess, what are you doing with all that supposed information you collected? And then, what else are you doing in the field? Are you learning? Are you taking classes? Are you reading books? What are you doing? I mean, besides honestly watching the TV shows, which I think everybody knows our stand on the TV shows and, you know, how they do things there. It's for entertainment. Come on.
Right. I think watching TV shows should subtract from your experience.
I mean, I just, when I see some of these claims by people on how many years of experience and all these investigations, and, you know, I think all three of us had probably been there. It's like, you know, you go out for 4 hours on a weekend, you do an investigation. Back in the old days, you do a couple hours of evidence review, or data review is what you should be calling it. And then that's it. But, you know, as I progressed through the years, and I, you know, a couple years ago took a trip with a couple people for a full weekend, and this was only one weekend at Hinsdale House, and it took us people who have, one's a medical doctor, and then another guy is he has his master's, 2 masters, one in research methods in parapsychology and other in psychology, and 2 other people. We spent 2 years analyzing that stuff. And that isn't just analyzing what we got there. It's reading scientific studies, applying them to what we found, interpreting the data against it. So there's a lot of things that come up. One, I don't think you're doing as many years of experience in 1,000 of investigations. If you are, they're nothing more than trips. You're taking a trip, you're going through a place, and you're probably not getting a whole lot out of it. And 2, just what are you doing? I just don't see, even if you did 1,000 investigations, what is the quality of that? And what are you really taking away from that? So there, I mean, the list goes on, but those are just the initial problems.
I agree. I mean, there's if you investigate, and I know like I saw Joe Vitale say like 4 hours. Like 4 hours is kind of the average that I use because that's what I see some groups going out for. They book a place and it's usually 4 or 5 hours that they book the place. Not everyone books overnight. And if they do, great. But also like how much of that time, if you're overnight, how much is devoted to sleeping? Like when do they fall asleep? When are they paying attention? How many smoke breaks? Stuff like that. We do have to account for that.
The older I get, if it's 4 hours late at night, it's like 1 hour of investigating and 3 of dozing off.
And then review. If you're going to analyze the data that you collect, it depends on the data that you're collecting. Like I think Dave, the thing you described from the Hinsdale, like the data you collect is something far different from what I usually see with the stereotypical ghost hunting. I mean, usually the stereotype is like you have a bunch of video, you have a bunch of audio, and usually that's it. Like there really isn't other data to analyze. You have some photographs, but if you have, and this is something that's come up, if you have 4 or 5 different cameras that are running all night long, or for your 4 hours, then you have to actually sit there and watch that and actually pay attention. I remember an episode of it was an episode of Ghost Hunters. It wasn't people are like, you're gonna pick on your boy Jason. I'm not. This is when Ghost Hunters went to that other team, and it was like the B team that came back for like a season.
The B team.
The B team that took over Ghost Hunters for a season. I remember one of them sat down in front of 2 monitors and had 2 videos going on 2 times speed. And I was like, how are you analyzing that? How are you paying attention to both screens that are going by twice as fast as normal? And expecting to see something or hear something or pick up something. How are you doing that? I don't see that as analyzing the data. I see that as like, let's get through this as fast as possible. And that's just shit work.
I'll tell you, as a ghost hunter, when I was a ghost hunter, I remember. Do you remember the app? And it's a really nice app still. The Audacity.
Yep.
Yeah,
it was free,
yeah.
And you put your recordings up into that. I can remember us particularly. I would put that up, and I would stream. I would stretch out my recording, and I would look for spikes, and then I would zero in on the spike, and then I'd play the spike, and I'm like, nope, that's one of us. And then I'd zoom back out. Like I was skipping the boring looking parts because I thought a spike meant that we had something. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like it was terrible. It was terrible in retrospect. It was just I would only look at the big wave patterns and I'm like, there's something, and I would skip over everything. I'm not going to say I'm going to imagine everybody does that, but I think it's probably something similar.
Okay.
In data review.
And
I mean, you can rack up hours doing that stuff. I mean, if you're doing it throughout the week, probably a couple hours a night. So, but still, it's still not going to get you to 20 or whatever, 10 years of experience or whatever 20 years of experience.
Yeah. And the way I was doing it, even if I was doing that for 2 hours a night, which it wouldn't take 2 hours because of the way I was doing it, I wasn't doing anything correctly. I wasn't doing anything productive whatsoever. I was probably doing more harm to what we meant to do than what I did good by doing that.
I would take, I have the example of if you do a 5-hour post hunt, okay? I was doing math too, Tim. You're going to be proud of me.
Oh, I already am.
If you have 3 audio recorders recording the entire time, okay, that's 15 hours. And if you have 5 cameras that are also recording the entire time, that's 25 hours. You got a total of 40 hours just on review. That's just watching and listening. That's not stopping going back, trying to figure out what was that? What was that? What did I see? Oh, let me see if I can look at the different angle of the same thing because I'm not sure what I'm looking at. You know, these are all things that come up when I review anything that I have is, okay, I need to look at a different angle. I need to listen to something else that matches this time thing. So you're talking 40 hours that expands into maybe 45, 50 hours easily. That's on top of the original 5 hours plus any travel time. And like that, what I'm trying to express is that just that is a lot of time. And if that's all you're doing, if you're going through it, watching it, looking for anything that's weird, and then just posting it, then going to the next place, doing the same thing. I think this is what I'm getting at with some of this is not only are you not getting any experience throughout that because you're not learning anything more, you're not doing anything differently, you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, but you are how are you spending so much? No, that's not the I think that would take so much time, and I haven't seen in my experience teams doing that where they're spending 50 plus hours just on review. And again, that's just this example. So I don't know your examples, are going to vary depending on how much footage and all that you have. So there's a lot of time involved. That's on top of a 40-hour a week job. If you are working during the day or at night or whenever you have your career going on, if you have family, if you have other hobbies and stuff. Yeah.
It also depends on what type of experience. I think what people are trying to say is, let's say in 2001, I got into the paranormal investigation field. I've been doing it until 2025. It's 24 years of being in it. Not necessarily experience, because if you're talking about experience, it's typically things like what is your professional experience? And then within that, what is the relevant experience doing certain things? Then what is a role specific experience? What did you actually do? What type of role did you play? And then what is your skill-based experience? What type of skills did you employ and what type of things did you do? So there's different levels and different types of experience, even in the general category of experience.
And I think you also have to factor in consultations. Because building off of what you just said, like if you don't have the skill to understand like video effects or photography effects or how anomalies or light anomalies will come onto a film or your digital sensor, if you don't have the skill or the knowledge base to understand what you're looking at or what you're experiencing, and you have to reach out to other people. One, are you actually reaching out to credible people, like credible experts that can inform you of what's going on or give you some background in which you would learn, and equals gaining experience because you'll learn from these experts. Like, are you doing that? There was another point and I totally forgot what it was.
Welcome to the 50s.
Get old, man.
Fuck you.
You lost it in mid-thought, too. That was good.
It's a combination of age and alcohol.
Well, yeah. Gaining more experience by Dave, you were touching on this, like reading books or looking at academic papers. So many, we've talked about this before, where so many people go off the headlines and they will use that in an argument. They've never read the fucking article or the paper, but they will be like, well, no, the scientists now say that through quantum bullshit, we can do this now. And it's like you're not gaining experience. You're just bullshitting your way through it. The experience comes from reading that paper. Like, go to the article, find the link to the paper, read the paper. And then you'll have a better understanding of what's going on with that particular topic. And I think that's that's important to gain that experience.
Mhm.
And I want to switch this to the combined experience idea. So, like, so my thought, my rant was that if you have a couple people, if you say you start your ghost hunting team in 2010, and you get a buddy or two buddies, and all three are now doing this, you're going out maybe once a month and you're doing a ghost hunt. And 10 years down the road, now it's like, all right, well, I have 10 years experience, and we talked about that kind of experience and how many hours and all that. But now your two buddies also have that 10 years. Is it fair to say we have 30 years combined experience? I don't think so. Because, well, one, if you're all one on the same hunts together, you got the same experience. At least in what's going on there. But if you're doing a profession for 10 years, like, you can gain some insights if you're willing to expand beyond your own knowledge base and break out of the circle. If you're willing to learn, you gain experience. Yeah, but just because there's two other people that are doing the same thing doesn't necessarily mean you have 30 years now instead of 10 years. You each have 10 years. I don't think you can combine them and honestly say we have 30 years experience. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, the way I'd look at that is just saying you have 30 years of experience, three people, 10 years. One, we know that the years of experience are off, they're wrong. But combining that, what are you combining? Are you all doing the same thing? Or are you doing different things? Do you have different areas of expertise? And again, how relevant is it? What experience do you really have? I mean, listen, I've seen this. You see it in, marketing. That's a lot of people use that is external marketing, that they'll play that up, like internal capabilities and assessments. No, they don't usually use that. And performance. Like, if you're looking, I guess if you look at it from a business perspective and a results perspective, what's the actual performance? What are you doing? What are you getting? What's coming out of it? So I don't think you'd want to combine your years of experience. Where I think it'd make more sense is, let's say a group of different scientists let's say they had a paranormal research organization. One was a physicist, one was a psychologist, one was a biologist, one was a mechanical engineer. That you could almost say is, let's see, a couple people, let's just say there was four of them. They each had been doing this for 10 years, and it was a full-time job. You could almost say then they had 10 or 40 years of combined experience across four different areas. So it's 10 years here, 10 years here, 10 years here, 10 years here. So I think there's a lot of nuance in that, but just saying that you have, 10, what if you have a group of 75 people and you each have 1 year of experience? Your group has 75 years of experience, but you don't know what in the fuck you are doing and talking about. Or if you have 100, 300 people with a half a year experience.
I didn't even take it that way. I didn't even think about that.
With a half year experience. So I got 50 years of experience, but you just started watching the TV shows and you went to 2 cemeteries. Come on.
Right.
What if you lived in an alleged haunted house for all your life? And is living in the haunted house, does that hourly experience because because you're living in it?
Depends on what you're doing with it, though. Again,
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think you could say I had 10 years of living in a haunted house. I don't know if I'd call it. I mean, I guess you could call it experience to live
Yeah.
there, but I mean, it really comes down to what are you trying to use experience, and what are you saying, and what are you trying to get across when you're saying I have X number of years of experience? To me, I think what's really happening with a lot of these groups is they're using it to gain credibility.
Yeah.
And differentiate themselves from the group that just started, because there's so many damn groups out there now.
See, I like this. Like Joe tells people, he's been doing this on and off for 30 years. And I think that's a better way to put it. Because again, yeah, if you're only doing it, if you're doing it once a month or even twice a month, like you're doing it off and on. You're not doing it all the time. Maybe you took a couple months off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's a good way to do it. And then I had a thought, because this came up earlier, like earlier in the day, in my random thoughts. But building on that example you gave, Tim, about growing up in a alleged haunted house.
Mhm.
Okay, if you believe that you've had experiences, paranormal experiences, okay, but they are later found to have logical explanations for them. Did you have good experience or bad experience if you're not the one that figured out what was going on? So, like, if you had what you think is a paranormal experience, and you're like, oh, I lived in a haunted house, I had a whole bunch of paranormal experiences, so I have more experience in this than you do. Like, maybe someone like me who doesn't think they've had an experience, a paranormal experience. Wow, experience is getting used a lot tonight.
Well, I started to say with that example, I think it's going to depend on how you now implement and use that experience. So if you do think you lived in a haunted house for 20 years and it turns out that it was a logical explanation, if you take that explanation and go, okay, I remember this makes sense. And then you go out and explain, I had this experience and this is what it was. I want to try to teach or relate my experiences to the factual events that actually happened that could be tested and replicated, as opposed to not saying that and then just go out and say I had 20 years of experience of paranormal investigation or living in a haunted house with ghosts. Do you know what I mean? I think the application of that can go two different stories. One, I think, would be a positive kind of way to go, saying this is what was found out after my experiences. And if you're having the same type of experiences I have, this is something that you could learn by, as opposed to just saying, I had 20 years of growing up in a haunted house. Let me investigate your house.
I like that. That's yeah. It could be a positive if you learn from it, and I think
if you learn from it and teach,
it.
And pass on that information correctly,
right,
or ethically. Okay, so all this is just going to be really fast. All this, when we were talking about it, all of a sudden it started making me think. I was like, this sounds like a CV, a curriculum vitae. And when Dave was talking, and he was talking about skill-based and all that, I was like, you can tell Dave's a supervisor and he does hiring. I was like, yeah, that is exactly. So I have, so the reason I popped into I have 2 court hearings next week, 1 civil, 1 criminal. So
I told you not to do the drugs.
Well, I crossed both worlds, baby. It was a fun weekend. So what prosecutors want from you and what defense attorneys ask from you is called a CV. It's a curriculum vitae. And that is your experience in the field. And I think it's very interesting because I broke it down just by what I could remember.
I'll be right back. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
All right.
So what you have to do is you have to put skill-based experience. So forensically interviewing kids. So they want to know how many you've done. They want to know your education relative to your job. They want to know what you have contributed to the field. Like that is something you need to put in there. What is your legal experience? Basically, have you ever been on the stand and been made an expert? Have you ever testified as an expert? What counties and what states have you been qualified as an expert in? Your education that is relative to your job, your continuing education, that you keep up with changes in the field. How many? What have you done? Pop off some research papers that might be relevant. And do you have peer review? And those are just like the quick things that I could think of. And you can imagine why a defense attorney wants to know this.
Right.
Because if you have, I've been doing this job for 1 year and I've done 5 interviews and I've worked with 1 criminal case, then they're going to have a lot of fun with you. But after a while, if you put down on your CV your experience, then anyway, the relative thing I was trying to make a point was it's kind of like relative to paranormal investigations. So they don't want to know how many years, like there's no question that says, how long have you been doing this? There's just not. They don't ask that.
Right.
They want to know how many, what are your skill base, how many, and of those, how many are peer reviewed, what's your education relative to the field, and then what's your contribution to the field? Is there anywhere that they can read your publications? And those are that's just really quick. And it really kind of, the parallel between the two kind of hit me while we were talking, only because I had to do a new CV for court next week. So it went out.
Yeah, I definitely think there's good and bad experience that people gain. I think the example when we're under one impression, and when it's thoroughly, or I hesitate to use the term properly, investigated, and a more logical conclusion comes up based on the data that's actually analyzed, and they learn from that. I think that's good experience. I think that's great, especially if they take it to heart. Not that they. I think it's kind of good experience, but if they say something like, all right, well, okay, but then the next day they're still telling people the same story and they haven't actually learned from it, I think that's bad experience. Or just continuing to go on, like something that I've talked about before, about accepting something at face value. Like somebody hears a noise, doesn't investigate it, thinks it's a ghost, says it's a ghost, tells that story. I think that's just bad methodology, and that's bad experience, because now you're teaching other people to just blindly accept something. So I think that's bad experience on their part. And I think, like, time, when it comes to time, like we've been talking, like how many hours are you putting in it? What sort of things are you doing? All of this, I think, comes together into saying, hey, I have so much experience in this hobby, or doing this work. But I think I'm still on the side of like what Joe said earlier, like, hey, I've been in and out of this, doing it off and on for 10, 15 years. And I think that's a more honest approach than saying, I've been into paranormal investigation and I have 30 years of experience, when you're like 29 years old. So we've been there. But yeah, I don't know. Am I going nuts with this? Or, I mean, do you guys agree with this? Or, I mean, it sounds like you're kind of on the same. We've been having a good discussion about this.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it's just, bottom line is they're totally exaggerating the number of years and the number of cases across the board to try to create some level of credibility. And then when it comes to experience, I mean, come on, it all depends on what you're really doing.
Right. All right. Let me see if I can, if we have some questions that I can pop up real quick. So obscure reference man. Should shared experiences be counted together or separately? If you investigate with 3 other people after 1 year, does that? Okay. I think we kind of covered that one. But if you have anything else to add to it, feel free, jump in. How about Ladies Night says, is it more respectable to say I've been doing this for 5 years instead of I have 5 years experience? I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Because I think that's a more honest way to explain it.
Yes.
Again, like I don't say I have like 10 years of woodworking experience because I only work with wood. like
Wait a minute. Wait a
year.
minute. Which one is it? No, that's the wrong one. Here it is. Here it is.
Or something else, like any of the hobbies that we do that we might do on a very sporadic kind of timeline. We can't say if we only do a project once a year, we can't say that's a full year experience because I don't agree with that. All right. Shouldn't experience be directly related to proven results? Proven which way?
And what do you mean by proven?
Right.
I think a failure can be a very positive thing.
Negative result can be just as important as a positive result.
Right. Right.
If not more in this right situation.
I mean, if you follow the old saying of learning from your mistakes, then you do gain experience and you progress. If you fail 1,000 times, that just means if you take all the experience in and knowledge in, then you understand how to not do something 1,000 different ways. Like that's good experience. You keep trying and you try it again a different way, as long as it's different. If you try the same thing 1,000 different times, then you should probably talk to your doctor. Let's see. That's for later. Let's see. Cree Storm. Do you think experience can be different, like those with on-the-job training and those that went to college? They are completely different yet important in differences and how they do things. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes back to educational skill base and field type skill base. I think both of those could play into that. So I don't necessarily think one's more important than the other, unless there's a certain field that needs more of one than less than the other. Right. But I think both of those are relative in their own way.
Yeah, and I think it depends a little bit too on what your area of study and area of interest is, and also the level of degree. I mean, when people come out in the sciences with a PhD in science, it usually involves a research project and dissertation and publication. So yeah, they have plenty of relevant experience if they're going into the academic research world. Okay. So I think it's both. I mean, I've seen people come out of college with, sure, they've taken all the classes, they have the academic background, and they've proven they can, they know their stuff in college. However, the experience in the job and in the field, lacking.
Right.
So you need to gain real world experience. You got to apply the skills you learned in college to that. But then again, like I said, it all depends on your level of degree and what you did and what field you're in.
Yeah, I think college, unless it's a very specific type of college, I don't think college trains you for the job. I think it gives you the tools to adapt to your new job
and to do the job.
I don't think I mean, could you going through college? One of my jobs was working in a mental health facility, and I was in school at the time. Nothing in the class
being a resident doesn't count.
Nothing in the class prepared me for the responsibilities and what I would see inside that.
Right.
There was a lot of me like yelling for nurses and just being like, what the hell do I do? Like, is this a moment where is it appropriate for me to take this person and remove them from the other person? Or like, what am I supposed to do? Right. I had all the wonderful education about social work, psychology. I had all that going on, but like in the moment when you come in and there's something going on, you don't know what to do. Like you're in the field now, and what do? You holler for the person with the most experience who might not have the education that you have.
Yeah, I think it goes both ways.
Yeah,
you definitely need both. You need. I was the same way. My personal experience was I went to medic school. I trained to become an EMT and trained it all, aced all my classes, everything. Got out on the street, first patient. I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like
What do I do?
now you're faced with a real world scenario, and it's like, oh shit, what do I do? I have all this knowledge. I got to figure out how to do it, and you learn on the job. As that question pointed out, you can learn on the job different things to be more efficient. What works better than everything else. And I mean, even going into my mechanic background, working on cars and aircraft, you learn the practical side of things, even though you go to classes and do training continually throughout the year, recurring training constantly. Putting it to practical use is so much different. And I can use it. I'm not going to pick on engineers here, but especially in aerospace, going from the engineers who worked in an office on schematics of the real world vehicle that I was working on, the helicopter aircraft, there were complete differences between the understanding of what can work. And without that practical knowledge, they had a lot of background knowledge, design the shit out of things, but most of the time it didn't work correctly until we applied it in the real world and then worked together. So I definitely think both need to be stressed there. And then there was a question here. Wait a minute, where'd it go? This is a good one. What all does experience encompass? Study, forensics of data, field work. I think we've been covering this the last minute or a couple minutes.
All of it.
I think it's all of it. Yeah. And the time comes into play because you can't do all of this at once. It takes time to go through the motions, to understand, to some repetitive nature, to understand what you're doing, to do it over and almost get a muscle memory on some things, but to understand the process. Is that Tim?
I'm sorry.
All right. I was like, whoa, Tim's excited.
I will have to mute until it's the dog is Kenny. That happens to be the name of my dog, is the one that's barking, running his mouth. Imagine that. So apparently either somebody's walking by the house, a leaf fell, or a UPS truck is somewhere within a 15-mile range.
I guess what it comes down to, and I don't want to get into specifics. Wow, that's a hard word. Shut up, Tim. I mean, this discussion and the next discussion was inspired by a few other things. And the experience, when it comes to having experience over the years, I guess one of my pet peeves is when it's doing the same exact thing over and over again and not progressing. So for a stereotypical example, I would say a ghost hunt where people go out, they use some gadgets. They don't really have an understanding of the gadgets, nor do they try to learn about the gadgets. They go out, they sit in the dark, they repeat the same things over and over again. And instead of analyzing the results, like you can review, I don't think that's the same as analyzing. You can look at a video over again, but when you have an anomaly, do you take the time to really try to figure out what's going on? What did I see? How long did it stay on screen? Where did it come from? Are there other angles? What could possibly cause that? You know, that's getting into the analyzing part of it. But if you're doing the same thing and putting out the same stuff without trying to progress or understand it better, I don't think you're gaining any more experience. I think you stuck in the rut and you're just circling yourself. And that's it. So if you do that for 10 years and never progress beyond what you did the first time, then I don't think that counts as 10 years of experience, or 10, even. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that one I'm little careful with, because let's say you're, this is not demeaning any job or anything. Let's say you're in let's say you're a oil change guy at Jiffy Lube, and you've been doing oil changes, same job for 10 years, and you've never progressed. That's not necessarily a problem. Might just be somebody who likes doing the same thing over and over again.
I agree. And if we're talking about like different professions, that's what that requires. This is not. My comments are said with a specific scenario.
Yeah, and I think the field we're talking about, paranormal, there's got to be a progression,
right?
Especially if you're starting out doing what they do on TV. You got to progress, otherwise. I think that's probably why you see a lot of groups fade. People come in, you want to, keep doing the same things over and over again, and I don't know if they're not finding things or they're getting bored with it, but a lot of groups fade after a while.
Right.
Then you get a new batch of people that come in. The ones that I've seen that tend to stick around more are those that have learned and progressed and advanced to a next stage, going from going out on the weekends to getting a little more serious, maybe deciding to collect some data, analyzing data, trying to really getting to a point of understanding what's really going on, as opposed to trying to go out and have an experience.
Right.
By just doing the same shit over and over again.
Like the group that we talked to where, oh shit, I'm blanking. Where Dave, you and I went down to talk, and we were
CPRI.
Yeah, CPRI.
Yeah. That's a group that's definitely progressed and still is.
Yes, and they're constantly trying new things. They're constantly trying to learn. They're reaching out to different people and doing their like in-service kind of day every year, and having speakers come in to progress what they're doing. Like that to me is what every group should be doing. And I guess it's not every group. I don't want to make a blanket term and say everyone in the paranormal is doing this shit. It's not. That's not what I mean. There's quite a few, I think, that I'm directing this to, but not everyone, because there are plenty of groups out there that we've worked with, that I've worked with, that are enthusiastic and they want to learn. They want to progress.
And there's others that just want to go out and have an experience and have fun with it. That's fine.
Yeah. That's fine too. Yeah, I absolutely.
I don't think you're going to hear them say they have 20 years of experience with 2 people and they've done 1,000 cases.
Right. And I guess it just, never mind. I had a thought, it went away. It was like, no, that's irrelevant. Okay. All right, let's go to break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about some like proper investigative method.
Proper.
Just
proper.
Like
proper
lazy.
English.
Proper. I've been hanging out with too many people over in the UK.
Yeah.
I've been using different words, which really sounds funny with my Philly accent. All right. So
you can imagine my West Virginia.
All right.
Proper, y'all.
Hey, y'all. Would y'all like
everyone?
tea?
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Moonshine, right?
We call it shine.
Shine. My bad.
You got
All
experience in that, Tim?
No, because it's illegal. I have no experience in.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Good answer.
We'll see everyone back here in 4 minutes and 9 seconds from now.
And now for something completely different.
Welcome, my fellow skeptics. Welcome, one and all. I am the chief investigator. Oh, come along, old chap. We will have a ball. Now, if you will excuse me, it's time to open the mic. Good night. Good night. Kenny Biddle's the name, investigating's my game, and I will have at it. Quid pro quo, as the head of this committee. Hunting for ghosts can be shitty, but there is nothing better that I know. I am a skeptic through and through. I question everything, don't you? Let's open the bar and ask some questions, alright? Maybe you might find an answer. many fakers out there, too many chefs, too many toe tappers, none of it makes any sense. I am a skeptic through and through, I question everything, don't you? Let's open the bar and ask some questions, alright. Maybe you might find an answer or two. Who knows? There may be ghosts in the machine, but trust me, I am not so keen. I prefer to see these things clearly, not in 144p. I am a skeptic through and through, I question everything, don't you? If you don't think I am right, let's open my night, yeah, yeah. I am a skeptic through and through, I question everything, don't you? If you don't think I am right, let's open my night, yeah. If you have an answer or two, let Kenny Biddle solve it for you. Let Kenny Biddle solve it for you. The one and only Kenny Biddle. Kenny Biddle. Kenny Biddle. Kenny
Hey, look at that. Dave came in like right on time. Nice. Very good.
Timing's everything.
All right. So, second hour, changing the topic here and just going with investigative methods. And I did use the word proper, and I can see how that would be taken a certain way, because I do say that sometimes when I'm responding to people. And again, the context here is that usually when I say something like that, it's to a ghost hunter that is using belief to support everything rather than actual like data or evidence. It's based on belief, and the investigation that they claim is, for just a simple example, just to get it out there so you understand where I'm coming from. It's more or less like I put a K2 meter out in the middle of the floor, it blinked, therefore ghost. And that's as far as it goes. Or another example was that I gave earlier today was that if a group of people are in one room and they're looking down a hallway and they see a shadow go across the end of the hallway, and they sit down and do an EVP session to figure out what it is. Like, I don't think that's a proper investigative method for trying to figure out what that shadow is, because I don't think that method would be relevant to that, because you haven't established what that shadow is. It's just automatically assumed that it's a shadow figure, therefore paranormal, therefore we can play with our recorders and communicate with it. So that's where I'm going with this. So I probably shouldn't have used proper, but sometimes, I get annoyed.
Send all hate mail to Kenny Biddle.
And send all math questions to Tim.
Absolutely.
Any mail is good mail. Well, never mind.
I can do any.
I've seen some of the
math.
ones you've gotten.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah, I can do any type of math. It doesn't matter. Send me any math problem. I can do it. I'm not going to guarantee correct responses, but it'll get done.
So I guess the throw it out there and just say that because this is how it was proposed to me. What
Okay.
is a proper investigative methodology? And I think Dave, I don't know if you said it earlier in the show or before we went live, like you had an exact answer that I had, but I'm going to throw that out there and just say to you guys, I'll throw it out to Dave first, but what do you think is a proper investigative method?
I think it depends on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to get at. So I think I said it before. If you're simply trying to troubleshoot or find a natural explanation or debunk something, solve a mystery, that's one thing. Are you trying to conduct a scientific investigation, which even there can be different types. So when I think somebody here had a question, I'm probably jumping the gun, but I'd love to see an example of investigations done in accordance with scientific principles using its methods. What would that look like? Again, it depends. Are you doing an experimental study? Are you testing a hypothesis? Are you doing a randomized controlled study? Are you doing observational or case studies? Are you doing a descriptive study, analytical, quantitative, meta-analysis, theoretical? These are all legit ways to apply the scientific method and do a scientific study. So it really depends. Case studies, when people write up case studies, which you see a lot of these in the parapsychological literature, you even see them in the medical literature. Case studies are legitimate scientific investigations. It's just how you go about it and how you apply the scientific method, how you analyze it, how you interpret it, how you write it up, publish it, peer review, all that stuff that's involved. So I think it depends obviously on what you're trying to do. But yeah, there definitely are examples of investigations and I don't know, scientific investigations or scientific studies and just other general investigations. The interesting thing is Tim knows way more about this than I do, but when you're looking at a criminal case, there's an investigation which involves science. There's scientific methods and analysis and ways they do things that apply scientific principles and methods to that investigation. So investigating something and applying the scientific method can be separate, or they can be they involve each other.
Awesome. Tim, same question.
I was looking for cues. So what was the question? I was making sure I didn't miss anything. I didn't want to be a bad person.
Scientifically, how can we get Tim to pay attention?
Well, I wanted to help. I tried, but then I was like, well,
no, that's cool. That's cool. I appreciate that. No, I mean you're doing a good job. I did ask you first to fill in for Donna, so it's my fault when you're actually doing what I asked, and I put you on the spot. So yeah, when I do say proper investigative methods, I think it's just I'm assuming people realize what I'm talking about, but that's the problem. Like that's my fault. When I put this title up, it was an assumption, an assumption. But basically it's when I come across the stereotypical ghost hunter that is doing the ghost hunt over and over again. They are going out with no controls over the environment. They don't keep track of what's going on or where people are. They're using devices and gadgets that, for the most part, and again, this is in my experience, for the most part, they don't understand how they work, how they operate, and how to interpret the data. And there is no data being collected for most of them. It's mostly a blinky light or a noise. And there's a lot of assumptions being made. There's a lot of that's probably a ghost, or that's probably this, because I think most of these groups go in already believing that the place is haunted. And to push that further, not only haunted, but in many cases by specific ghosts because they've heard the stories.
And that's where the ghost hunt. You're basically saying you're hunting a ghost. I mean, I go deer hunting. I don't go deer investigating.
That's good.
I know it's out there, and I'm going to go find it.
I guess you could call me a deer investigator
Semantics.
then.
You just investigate them. You don't actually.
Well,
You investigate. Do you investigate their slaying afterward
man.
and realize it's you?
if the collapse of society happens, even though I'm from West Virginia, not to be stereotypical, but I can grow a garden. But if you want meat, you're going to have to like hook up with another person or another group of deer. Like the first person I'm going to go to is someone that can hunt.
But
Do I have rifles and all that good stuff? Yeah. Can I get a deer? No. No.
But that's
They look pretty on the wall.
That's a key where your difference where, and I think what Kenny's saying is 100% true. When they're on a ghost hunt, they're assuming something paranormal there. There's a ghost there, and they're gonna go stake it out and try to have an experience. Try to find it. The other thing is, I think for sure though, this is not a free for all. And there's somebody the three of us know that one of the popular sayings was, because we don't know what it is, anything goes. Bullshit. I mean, there's ways to go about it, and there's ways. And I've also heard you can't conduct scientific investigations of the paranormal. That's another bullshit. You can apply science and the methods to anything.
We do.
It doesn't matter if it's crazy or not. It's just how you go about it and the tools that you apply and how you analyze and interpret in the conclusions and the process.
I think that's one of the things that the three of us have several times. I don't want to use the word proven, but certainly given examples and of how we can test paranormal claims and collect data and put it out for review for anybody that wants to do it. And also, we've offered everything that we've done. We've talked about what we've done, how we did it. Ghost bothering. That's pretty cool.
Ghost stalking. Love it.
I'm more of a ghost pesterer than a ghost hunter.
This would be a good T-shirt for
you got to do it.
Tag along. Like I'm a ghost botherer.
I mean, if there are ghosts, they got to be bothered.
Yeah.
If you're here, turn the flashlight on. If you're here, turn it off. Turn it on. Turn it off. Turn it on. I'd be like, fuck, I did it 10 times. What more do you want? Come on. Now you're bothering me.
How many times will people ask me how I died? Like, how many times do I have to tell them?
It's not something I want to remember. It was kind of traumatic. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. What both of you are saying. I mean, it's there's ghost hunting, and then there's investigation, and what I see as an investigation. And again, this is coming from me. This is my perspective of it. I basically two types. I think the type where, and you covered them both, Dave. You have the scientific study where you're going in there. There is you're looking to understand why there might be an anomaly there, and you are monitoring the shit out of the environment, which is something that, again, your typical ghost hunters don't do. You can have a few hours or a few minutes where they actually monitor something, but not the way you would do it. You would do it like the entire time that you're there, constantly taking all that data in and then spending I think you said 2 years analyzing that data. I mean, I don't know anyone that calls themselves a ghost hunter, paranormal investigator that have done that. Spent 2 years analyzing one case.
Yes.
That I know.
We've been over that ad nauseum.
Yes. The other way that I see an investigation being played out is, again, you also mentioned this, is when you're going in there inspecting or investigating a specific claim, looking to solve that mystery, where you might not have to collect all that data because the anomaly is more, I guess I want to say practical. Or like, let's see if somebody has a photo or a video.
Yep.
And they're showing it and there's an anomaly on there. And we want to see if we can, one, find a cause for it. So you have to be on location And
Yep.
2, can you recreate it? Can you show that under the same conditions as the original presentation? Can you replicate that?
Yeah.
Is it possible? Like,
Both
go
of
ahead.
those go hand in hand. They go together.
Yes.
They complement each other. And I think that was somewhat of the point of our talk that we gave when we were at the CPRI
Right.
event. But yeah, they definitely work together. I mean, you got to rule out the normal before you're even going to start looking at it and seeing what type of other anomalies are occurring in the data and what other things you may need to hypothesize and test. Rule
Right.
out the stuff that's natural easily. And that's a big first step. It has to be done. And if that's not being done, I mean, you're gonna have a hard time conducting even a scientific investigation if your goal is to determine, minus easily explained natural causes, what else could be happening there.
Right.
So
Right.
those are absolutely essential, and that's it's alternate hypothesis testing really is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different things to think of when you're in a place that, I guess it depends. It goes back to the experience itself. What are people claiming?
Mm-hmm.
And if there is, I kind of think of it in a way of, if somebody says that they experience a sudden drop in temperature in a specific room, like, my first thought would be, okay, let me go in there and see if are there drafts? Is there a window that doesn't seal, or is it open to the outside? Is there a hole in the wall? Are there vents hidden that they don't realize the AC is kicking on and it's cooling it? Is there something else that's going on that that just hidden? Let's find that first.
Mm-hmm.
And if all of that turns up negative, we can't find anything, can't find a source, call on other people, run it by them, find out. Then I always think, like, oh, this is when I would call Dave and say, Dave, can you come to this place and set up? There is an anomaly here. Can't figure it out. And I think we really need to collect the data and collect data from different sources,
Yep.
all the sources that you would think of.
There's
Go ahead.
a lot of weird environmental changes that your body and you will pick up as ambiguous stimuli, and you interpret it as something potentially paranormal.
Right.
A lot of strange things that happen that they're natural, but they're strange, and they might not occur all the time, or it might be the right person in the right place, and the right mental makeup that they interpret things a certain way. So, not that there's a ghost or not, but they're just beyond the obvious natural explanations. There can be more ambiguous natural explanations that don't occur all that often that could be explained too. So that's another thing you have to look for.
Let's see, a puppy dog. I'd like to add, like what you just said. One of the things I think that you put a term to for me, Dave, is I'm not going to get the term right, but it's like a paranormal cue.
Oh, contextual cues.
Yes, contextual cues. Yeah. So if you go into a place that for your culture, being whatever it is, signifies something that's haunted, then you're probably your adrenaline system, it might not be at fight or flight or freeze right now, but you're a little bit higher alert.
Right.
So something that would be considered normal, like a bump or a knock or a cold breeze in another house, would suddenly become, at minimum, interesting. Maximum, maybe a sign of a spirit trying to reach out, as opposed to going to a very nice home that was just built, not on any burial grounds, not in any cemetery, but just someone saying something weird's happening. Right. But you go in and it's very lovely, it's very clean, it's nicely built, it's got great stuff in it, as opposed to going to 19th century an old house with creepy pictures and cobwebs and broken and Scooby-Doo in the corner.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in locations last year, a hotel in San Francisco, and the number of contextual cues and priming that was going on there was unbelievable. And that with some weird things like you could barely hear like a truck go by, but you could feel the vibrations in the place and you could hear things rattle. I mean, that's strange to people. People that don't, look into this, or shall we say, have experience in this area.
Oh,
Oh,
They
Nice.
may interpret that as something completely paranormal, but it's not. It's just kind of a weird congruence of different things coming together.
Right.
see, this is an experiment. Like, this is way above probably what I would be able to get. But we've talked about it. I would love to take a house that looks like it's creepy haunted and come up with a story and say, this is what happened in this house. And then another house that's just a normal house, nothing creepy about it. And just doing different teams and switching the scenario in each house and seeing what the results would be of someone. Now, I wouldn't do a creepy house that has an allegation of haunting because, you want to rule that out. But it's just a creepy house. Tell them that, this was a mass murder site, or I don't know, whatever. People can't live here because all the strange things. It's up to you to solve this, mystery machine people. And see what the differences are. See if you have more experiences in a contextually cued place as opposed to another place. But I still want the same people to investigate a house that we tell them isn't haunted, but just to go in and see.
There was an experiment we ran a long time ago. We took a group of people to a cemetery where nothing had ever happened that we knew of. Well, you can't say 100% certain, but you couldn't find anything posted anywhere about it. But we made up a scenario and some stories of things happening. And wouldn't you know, when we went there, people said they had experiences. They supposedly interpreted EVP recordings as ghostly voices, which was, I listened to them. I think it was just the wind, and they were hearing things in the noise of the wind. And if we told them this is absolutely nothing's ever happened here, blah blah blah, which we didn't do, which retrospect we should have. But again, just telling them, coming up with a story, taking them to a creepy location with the context and the cues, they had experiences. That's a given. There is a given that somebody will have an experience if they have the combination of the right person in the right place in the right time under the right conditions.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to take that. I want to take another group to a place that has nothing like that and use the same story for the creepy house.
Check their backgrounds too, because people who have a strong belief, every little thing could be interpreted and they could have an experience. So you got a level set on where their beliefs are when you do that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
I got to get somebody with a really nice house to let me borrow it and have strangers crawl through all their stuff for a little while.
I think this is kind of where I'm going at with this topic, is that this is how you work out a proper investigation. I think there's different types that we've been talking about, but even when you're trying to design, you are actively designing an experiment as we were talking about this and going through and bringing up issues. But, I want to do this and bring up a control versus the non-control, this and that. So this is what I'm talking about using good protocols, planning ahead. It's understanding what you're doing, why you're doing it. Like, why are you in there? What's the reason for it? Equipment. And we've talked about this before. You can use equipment to monitor the area, but make sure you have a reason for using that piece of equipment. Like, don't use it just because you saw it on a TV show, and some ghost hunters using it. That's not reason enough to do it. Plan it out, understand why you're using it, and then understand what happens when you do use it. Understand what can set it off. These are just basic ideas and questions that you have to ask yourself when you plan on actually investigating and not ghost hunting. Because again, I think there's a big difference between going somewhere on a weekend to have fun, to enjoy time with your friends, to scare yourselves a little bit, to, you know, talk to the dark, whatever. That's ghost hunting. You're hunting a ghost because you want something to happen, as opposed to, hey, there is either a mystery, there's a claim, there's an anomaly. We need to understand what's going on. Let's set up experiments. Let's collect data. Let's investigate this and try to find a cause. Because I think that's the purpose of an investigation, to find out what happened or what is happening, and come to a logical conclusion based on the available data that you have. I think I said that right. Just making sure, because I've had a little bit of rum tonight, so it's late in the show. So let's see, what kind of questions should we have?
Do you want me to do the questions, since that's what I'm hired for?
Yes, sir. I'm
okay.
Hands off. Usually I do that.
I mean,
Earn your paycheck, buddy.
If I click anything, Donna usually yells at me. I get a look like,
don't touch that.
What are you up to? I think she stole something off my shelf.
Superman has his head chewed off.
There was a point where it's like she was making noise, and I turned around, and all of a sudden she darted out the room. That usually means like she got something.
She got busted.
So go ahead. Yeah, you can do the questions. What do you think?
What about?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You better check your stuff. What do you think about the statement? Everybody, paranormal investigator, has the right to be here in the paranormal community, correct or not? My statement, by the way, this was on another page. So I'm thinking there are groups or people that think that they have a reasonable influence over what should and shouldn't be included. Is that, I think that's the way I'm kind of interpreting it. In other words, I kind of feel like there's certain people that want to exclude certain cultures of people. Yeah. Or, and by cultures, I mean, it could be anything, but they just, you know, I think that's what that means. And I certainly want to say,
not my statement, Tim.
I think anybody, I mean, everybody has their, I mean, I don't even know, like, to think, I haven't even broached the subject that no matter who you are, what culture you're, like, I haven't even thought about somebody shouldn't be allowed to do it. It's, you know, okay. So my basis, like, I love the thought of paranormal investigators are just scientists that don't know that they're scientists, and with a little bit of training would have loved the field or will go into a field, because basically everybody's trying to solve a mystery or trying to collect data, even though it might be good, might be bad, might be not be a very good method, but people are still searching an answer for a problem. And that's basically a scientific process. And that's basically what people go into, or they're searching for information to help solve a problem. I think everybody that wants to do that, to me, like, I can't think of a reason somebody shouldn't be excluded from. One, if they just want to do it for a good time and have laughs and get scared, then everybody should be able to do it. Two, if they really are serious and they want to be inside of that, I think, you know, I wouldn't want to work with somebody that would want to exclude somebody for a reason, like some type of cultural thing. Everybody has the right. I think everybody has the right. Now, if you have a team, you can certainly be selective of who you want in that team and who you don't want. But I'm kind of taking that statement as maybe they're reacting to someone that says not everybody should be allowed into the paranormal community.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Fine. I think I'm going to take a different route here, because I have an issue with the title. So paranormal investigator, that is a self-styled title. That's people give that to themselves. That's not earned. It is not something that you take a class. Well, let me correct that. You can take a class. It doesn't mean shit. I can give you a class to become a paranormal investigator. Doesn't mean you are. That is a title people give themselves. So, I'm not sure how to handle this question, because I'm taking it as, is everyone okay? Is it okay for anyone to call themselves a paranormal investigator, or is it okay for anyone to be a part of this community? Because paranormal investigators in parentheses here, I don't know what they're meaning by that. Because you have ghost hunters that can come into this for entertainment and mostly for the fun and the hobby and the community of people that share their beliefs, and it's a nice sense of community, which is, hey, have at it. That's cool. Just don't claim to be doing scientific investigations. To understand you're ghost hunting, you're doing a hobby and you're having fun. That's one thing. If you're serious about it, I usually call myself an investigator, because that's my job title. That's what I was hired to do. And I investigate stuff. Usually other people put on the paranormal thing, but I investigate paranormal claims. But I don't think everyone is deserving of that title that gives it to themselves. And I think that's my main issue with that, is that people, for some reason, they just say, hey, I'm a paranormal investigator. But are you? I would question, are you actually investigating, or are you doing some of the other stuff that we've talked about tonight, where you're more of a hobbyist? And what is that? What is that word that somebody came out with? The paranormalist?
No.
I knew that would get you. Are you just an enthusiast that does it more often than just once in a while? But again, I think we have to ask ourselves, are you actually investigating the claims, or are you just out to find ghosts or spooky things? So I mean, if you just want to be part of the community and just go on ghost hunts, or be a part of it and join in podcasts or live streams and stuff like that, that's for anyone. I think there are a few people that are in it for definitely selfish reasons. And there's a lot of people that also put out a lot of false information. Stephen Puff. Sorry, I got something caught there. And I don't think those people should be in this community, but I am not.
And he's in a huff about this one.
I'm huffing, I'm puffing. I have no control over that. So, I try, but doesn't work.
I would say anybody's allowed to be in the community. That's fine. Where I think we need to start critically assessing and maybe drawing the line is, should they be in private homes?
Yes.
So I'd say most of them probably shouldn't. Listen, that comes from me doing it too for years. And I look back at some of the situations and things, the group I was with ran into, and boy, in my older, wiser years, makes me. Yeah, anybody's allowed to participate. But again, back to my statement, not anything goes. Depends on, I agree with Kenny and Tim's comments and Kenny's comments about, are you truly investigating or not? I think there's a difference. There's the ghost hunters that are kind of, to me, hobbyists. There's the paranormal investigators that if they're living up and actually investigating, that's fine. There's the researchers who are probably more advanced academic. You're getting into anomalistic psychology. You're getting into some of the parapsychology, getting into the academic world. So I think it really depends on where you play and what you want to do. And everybody's welcome, of course, but just be careful of where you go and what you say and do.
Right.
Yeah. And the statement Kenny kind of just put up just a minute ago, it's also be careful of who you invite in with your team.
Yeah. Yeah, we can tell some stories about that.
We got a story about that, don't we?
Oh, Jesus.
Let's see.
You ready? You want the next poll?
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I got you. No. You go right ahead.
Don
I
was
got
there, his fingers would be broken by now.
I tell you what, you
I'm
take over this. I see 24 comments I haven't screened yet. So
Okay.
you take over popping the questions up.
Did you see
25 now.
the latest episodes of Ghost Adventures? They found a knife at a place where animals were sacrificed. And
No, and don't care.
what he said. No, Ghost Adventures. If you have not gotten it by now, like as far as I'm concerned, it's fabricated, scripted bullshit. I wouldn't trust anything they say whatsoever.
Entertainment.
Yeah,
Entertainment. That's it. Entertainment.
yeah. If that, like, I can't stand the crew. I can't stand the people on the crew because they are just so full of shit and misinformation and word salad that it disgusts me that they are still on the air, because I think they're contributing to the dumbing down of America and the world, really, with what they put out. So that's it. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Let's get that off. Oh shit. I screwed that one up. So let me put this up.
Do I have to go back doing both jobs again?
Skeptical Help Art in your house from now. So I'm only doing this tonight. I might do this later, but it's much easier because if Donna's not here, then it's easier for me to like I was going to be on with these guys, and I was like, I'm there's a good chance I get fucked up. I get like so drunk, I don't want to walk home from work. So I have this set up now, and everything works great. So I might as well like enjoy it. Just go upstairs. Yep. So all right, are you good, Tim? I'm
watching. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. I was going to take my hand off the mouse. See, could you put Taryn up so she'll stop whining down here? No.
Number 4.
That's fun to make her complain and whine.
I want to thank Pinky's Art and Music for the sticker. Thank you for the super sticker.
Very cool.
Also want to thank Laura B for the super sticker. Thank you very much.
Pinky's Art and Music. That had a. I want to go.
You can almost
look that
afford
up.
to pay Tim tonight.
I know. All right. What's the hardest thing that you've had to tell a homeowner that called you to come investigate it?
That their house was not haunted.
Truth? Yeah.
And they were so hell-bent on it being haunted. Actually, there was a case we did outside of Milwaukee one time, and this was very difficult because the wife was looking for a reason to divorce her husband. And she was claiming, and her daughter even wanted to say, why can't you just tell her and him that it's the ghost of this dude's ex-wife that's causing all these problems? And it's like, you could see the whole family dynamic and the woman wanting an excuse to get out of this marriage. And they wanted to say it was due to the ghost. And oh my God, it was really hard. It was hard because, well, it was easy to say it wasn't haunted because we don't think it was haunted, but it was really, really hard to see that situation. And really, a lot of groups would have said, fine, it's the ghost of we think that's what it is. But boy, to stick to your guns, not give an inch on situations like that and just walk away, that to me was probably the hardest thing we had to do.
Mm-hmm. Right. I had a similar, I guess it's similar. I actually got the email and called this person from the work phone. Smart. She was having an affair, and the husband put a recorder in the bedroom. So she was like, she called, when I talked to her, she was like, she goes, this is so bad. She's like, there's a ghost in our house and my husband thinks I'm cheating and he puts this recorder in the bedroom. She was like, can you just analyze this and say the male voice is just a ghost? Like, that was not hard to say no. I was like, no.
The moaning's more difficult to explain, but we'll give it a go.
no, I didn't even ask for I didn't want to hear it. No. There is a lot of danger that comes from that situation. And if you put yourself in the middle of it, you could be a target of that danger.
Man,
That is the hands off complete. Like this is going to be between your attorney and his attorney.
Right.
And don't call me as an expert witness because I'll be like, nope, I'm not getting involved in this.
50 Shades of Paranormal. I'm coming up with all kinds of show ideas here.
Oh my.
It's going to be fantastic.
Actually, we should compile the sexual stories of what are they? The two entities, incubus and a succubus. We should get 50 stories and publish a book. The 50 Shades of
Paraporn.
Jesus.
No, paraporn's too straightforward. We should just call it 50 Shades of Paranormal. If you put a fancy title on it, then it's not.
Yeah,
paranormal.
that's actually pretty good. Like 50 Shades of Paranormal, stories of the succubus and incubus.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. We should work on that. We really should work on that.
Valentine's Day episode.
I would buy that.
You know what? Wait.
Incredibly entertaining.
I claim this topic.
Oh shit!
So
All
February, get ready because we're gonna have.
I guess we're ready to launch on Valentine's Day, please.
So for me, there was two stories that were difficult because of the emotional response that I was getting. So one was a mother that had lost her son, and she had several ghost hunters come in and do the flashlight trick and convince her that they were in contact with her son. And she felt a lot of comfort from that, but then she started second guessing it. And she came across one of my videos that explained what the flashlight trick was. So she had asked me about is this true? Is this actually a trick? Or is it real? Because these guys came in and they told me they were talking to my son and I was getting answers.
Oh shit.
Stuff like that. And I was like, all right, so I can tell you without a doubt that this is a trick. They were using these same, and I made sure, are they using these same flashlights? Yes. Are they doing this beforehand? Yes. Okay. So that is basic science. And it's a trick that they were doing, and it manipulates the flashlight into turning off and on. It's and she's like, so I wasn't getting answers from my son, and that was so. I mean, I'm going to tell her the truth, but yes, like seeing her response, and because we were face to face on a Zoom call, and I could see like she's upset about it, and I was like, do you really want? Let me make sure. Like, do you want to hear this? And she's like, yeah, I want to know the truth. So I told her, like, it's a trick. They were not talking to your son. If you talk to your son and you feel that he hears you, then by all means, like, cherish that. But don't rely on these people coming in with a gadget has a known flaw, and they're exploiting that, and they're exploiting you by doing that. So we went through that, and it was difficult because I mean, she's emotional. I'm getting emotional. I'm like, oh, don't cry, be serious. But like it's hard. And then the second one was a story I've told before about the Dybbuk box. And I think you guys, I don't know if you guys were there. It was the conference in Gettysburg that we were all at. And when we were setting up, when I set up the table.
I remember that. Yeah.
And the mother came up and asked me about the Dybbuk box because I had the whole story in a graph like behind it. And she had told the story about she touched it. She went into the Baggins Museum like before it officially opened, and she touched it, and she thought she was cursed, and her son had taken his own life like a week or so later, and she had blamed herself for like a year or so. And we went, she asked me about the story, and I had to go through it all and just explain it. And yeah, it was hard because I was getting choked up seeing how she was responding, because you could see the relief on her. So it was difficult to tell her the truth, even though I was telling the truth, and it was a relief after that. So I guess it's more the hard part. Just
that was
relating.
the low point of that conference. The high point was all the autographs you signed there.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
We got video and
We got video.
but so just to go on another side of that, though, that little bit of difficult truth that you did share with her could have saved her. We don't know, like, going down the road what
Years
anybody's
of problems.
That, and we don't know the intentions of people.
Yep.
When they say, I mean, they could start saying, well, we can't keep affording to come out here and do this with you. But, if you could, $100 for every time we come out, you could start seeing a position of taking financial advantage of this person and scamming her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that little bit of a tough part, one, I think I'll call that, it's a beautiful moment. It gave her clarity. It gave her, it was tough to hear, but it was the truth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. I'm going to let you pick next.
Oh, right. Here we go.
You pick out what you want.
Cat Mac. I've been on two. I got it. I've been on two good. I accidentally, I think I misinterpreted the last question. So I'm going to read carefully from her so I don't do it twice. I've been on 2 ghost hunts this year with uni students. Kids. Oh, I marked this one because it's not a question, but I thought it was an interesting topic. Kids today don't know about Ouija boards. I wonder if this will all soon fall out of fashion.
I don't. Well, it might be just the kids that you were interacting with.
Know what Ouija boards still are.
Yeah, because I mean, I go to plenty of conventions, from like paranormal conventions to psychic conventions to crafting just shows, and there are always talking boards, Ouija boards. I mean, Ouija is a brand, but talking boards all over the place, and I still see people loving them and making them, and most of the crafters are younger, younger than I am.
I think the other side of that, though, is you're going to places where you would expect to see them. I kind of think of it, maybe my first thought, when it came out, how popular it was. Kind of like Twister. Like, people know Twister, but nobody plays Twister like they used to.
I can't. Like I used to.
Get to a certain age, you cannot stretch like that anymore.
Right hand, red circle. Nope.
I'm out.
Not doing it. And that's just in front of me.
911, what's your emergency? We were playing Twister. Say no more. We're sending 2 ambulances.
How old are you? Oh yeah. Paramedics on the way.
I think in time. I like to think in times of time. So you can see like a bell-shaped curve that will, you can see the increase in interest, the top of it, the asymptote, where it lays off, and then it starts falling down. Will it ever go back down to 0? Probably not. I don't think it will ever go back, but I don't know that it will be as popular culturally throughout the culture outside of the paranormal that it was. So that's just stuff like that's interesting to me. I do. It's weird. It's a weird thought pattern, but I do get stuck in it. Even fashion. Why did we stop wearing suits of armor? Like, that was cool as hell.
All right, moving on.
Rabbit hole. Stop.
Just move on to another topic.
Yeah, don't. I can't. Don't make me go down another rabbit hole.
Oh man. All right. You got this. Come on.
Oh shit, me. Oh, I thought it was you. There's 19. You go next. Let me look for some more cues. I don't want to miss.
All right, let me see. Well, we're almost done. We only got 10 minutes left, so we can't.
All right,
rapid fire. Let's do rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Do it.
put up Donna's cutoff there. No. All right. So here we go. Why would a spirit be interested in doing parlor tricks? Good question.
That would annoy the fuck out of me. No.
It would. It really would. I would be pissed off. All right.
Look at you guys.
Do you think it's possible that real paranormal anomalies do happen, but the numbers are so small that they fall into the background noise and are never recorded or seen?
Yes, the numbers are small and there is a lot of background noise. That's why you'd need to do the appropriate analysis and hopefully have some level of understanding of statistics like Tim does.
Yes. Anybody just email me.
Understanding.
I will factually, I will answer all your statistic questions.
And I think paranormal anomalies are just anomalies. I'd say there's anomalies that aren't explainable right now. They could end up being something ghostly or not. We don't know yet.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll add to that. I agree that we should say anomalies because we haven't determined that they are paranormal, whatever that means. Because again, that's a blanket term.
They appear beyond normal right now.
Beyond normal, yeah.
Fair enough.
And then I would also add that, again, this goes back to one of our topics of discussion tonight, is that for the most part, the groups that are out there are not doing proper investigation. They're not investigating. They are just more thrill seeking or having fun or playing a hobby. They're not actually investigating. So if there are anomalies out there, they are completely missing them. And if they, other than that, like the other side of that coin from completely missing them, or if they do notice them, they are just taking them at face value and putting it out there and not analyzing them. Tim, anything?
Yes, I am glad that this question kind of came up actually, because I think sometimes we talk so much about maybe in not a negative, but a restrictive way of speaking. I like that someone would say, do you think like actual paranormal anomalies?
Drink, bitch. Drink.
I drank all my drink. That's why it's beginning to start to happen. I think I speak for all of us because I feel like I do, but we in no way, or I know we in no way say there's no such thing. We in no way say that there's no possibility, because that would be as arrogant and negligent as saying, yes, I know for a fact that there is a ghost. Is, you know what I'm saying? If I say there's no such thing as ghosts, there's no such thing as something out there that we don't know have an explanation for, that would be just as bad as the opposite end of the spectrum. So we can't do that. And if we do that, if we do say there's no such thing, then we are severely limiting ourselves on why are we even here. Yeah. So you have to have the concept that there are stuff out there that could be something that is in a paranormal realm, as you know, using that word contextually with the paranormal. And I certainly think that something might be. I am absolutely open to that. As a matter of fact, I would say I lean on I really hope that there's something like it would be so cool. Like I'm running out of time. Like I'm in my 50s. Like I'm going to have to find out when I'm dead. Then I can't tell you guys because you'll be like, oh, is that Tim? No, that's.
We'll ask you to turn the light on. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'd be like, ditch the TR60. But
all right, come on, shotgunning.
Oh, well,
rapid fire.
You asked me? Okay, you go ahead. Go ahead.
People in West Virginia should know how to shoot shit quick.
We do.
All right. Cree, don't you think it's asking a bit much for paranormal teams to go about investigating? Why is that in quotes? Scientifically, when very few have a background in science or no real knowledge of what that means.
I don't think it is. I certainly don't have a background. You know, my BS is I have a Bachelor of Science in Psychology, but it has nothing to do with like what you would think about applying methods. I got lucky because I was going to do experimental psychology, so I had to go through experimental classes. So it helped me understand method, all that stuff. But I think what we do, I love what we do as the three of us as a team, is we come up with ways to test claims. Is it perfect? No. But do we follow a scientific method with it? We do our best. And we, try to show people that you can do it. Like, it's not something that you have to have a degree to follow different types of rules. You have a question. Can you test it? Yeah, we came up with a way to test it. Well, let's look at how we're going to control for variable. How are we going to control for everything? Then we set it up. Then we do it. And then we look and we analyze the data. And then we tell everybody what the data is. And we share it. There's nothing that we haven't done that are completely open to sharing everything that we did. So that that haunted item, like, I wish somebody else would do that. I was really hoping somebody else would do that. I'm still thinking about doing it again. I had a good time doing that, but that's, I don't have a scientific background. I do have a Dave, and my Dave helps me with, like,
that's so cute.
it is, isn't it? And hold on, I want to see his face. Oh, I do have a Dave, and Dave directs me, but that's part of reaching out to people that have more knowledge than me in that field. I'm not going to think that I have everything that I need to know. If I know people that are more knowledgeable and experienced in a field, I'm going to reach out to them. Yep. And that's what I do. And, Kenny reaches out to me for security, and I understand that because nothing's ever
rapid
happened.
Fire, Tim.
Rapid fire. Okay.
Rapid fire.
So, I think that people can do it. Rapid fire.
So yes, they can. I don't think it's too much to expect because they can participate at various levels. Look at citizen scientists in mainstream science. They collect data, they send it to somebody who can do the analysis, so everybody can play a role. And I don't think it's expecting too much.
I agree with both of you. And I also would add that if a group is promoting themselves as using science, then yes, damn well, I damn straight I'm going to expect it from them. And I don't think it's I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
Good point.
All right, so let's go on because we're almost out of time here. Fear of the Living Pod question: you get to finally investigate a location you haven't yet, but they require you to use their equipment. They offer the SLS, DR60, or Maglite. Which will you reluctantly use and why?
I'll go first. None of it. I turn around, get in my car, and drive the fuck off.
Yep. That's my that was my answer too. Nope.
Done.
So I'm gonna go a different route and just say I would pick the Maglite because your question does not require me to do a yes/no session. It just says which piece. So I would use it as a flashlight and just look around the dark.
Look at you little attorney.
Yeah, that's right, bitch. I brought it.
That's actually a good answer. I like Kenny's answer. I'll maybe step back on mine a little bit more.
Yeah, now that I've talked to my attorney, I think I will accept that contract.
I might show them how to use those things appropriately. There we go.
Cat Ward, do you think religious beliefs play a part in interpretation of events? Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, we all have our own biases. We all have our own filters. And I think part of a progression of becoming more experienced is to recognize those. And you don't always, I mean, I have my own biases. I know I've recognized a lot of them. I try to understand that, hey, when are my biases coming through? And I try to address that. Sometimes I do it. Sometimes I don't. And luckily I have other people that will remind me, hey, you might be doing a little bit, going a little too far with this, which is good. But that's part of it. That's open discussion. But yeah, I do think religious beliefs, and even just, it doesn't have to be religious per se. It could be just your beliefs from your upbringing, depending on what they are. So yeah, definitely. Anyone?
Oh no, that's a simple. you clicked on it right for me. The same.
All right.
It's hard. Religion is, I can't, this is shotgun, but religion can be so ingrained because it starts right when your neurons are starting to develop, and you already started the rituals, you've already started hearing the stories. The very people that are keeping you alive, warm, fed, are the ones telling you this story. And so it becomes a part of who you are. And it's difficult to deviate from that, which includes, I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying it's difficult to deviate from that and separate that part out so you can go purely on results.
It definitely plays a role. I mean, it's interesting. Quick, and we can move on to the next one. A book by Scott Rogo looking at religious miracles in the context of if you interpret them in parapsychology, like PK and ESP. And so two totally different, you'd say almost they conflict a little bit, but one, if you look at it religiously, it's due to God. The other one says it's due to some sort of parapsychological process. So even within paranormal and supernatural, they can have different interpretations based on what your basis of belief is there.
Okay. All right. Got two more here.
Two more.
To put this one up, how often is mental or emotionally emotion involved in hauntings? My wife had a history of trauma in her life, and she saw ghosts all the time.
There's an interesting book, and there's a lot of work that Dr. Harvey Irwin did that looks at past trauma and belief in the paranormal and experiences in the paranormal. So there's actually quite a bit of published literature on that. So it can, but actually a lot of the surveys have shown that people who have ghostly experiences and see ghosts don't have a history of trauma or mental illness or emotional problems. So normal people, stable people see them. So that's not a go-to for explaining seeing a ghost.
Right. I mean, my go-to is always to start with your GP and go from there. If there's an issue that keeps coming up like this, especially if there is a known history of trauma, then that's where to start. Like and that's all I can say because I'm not qualified to go any further with that.
I wouldn't say, I would say you definitely, Kenny's advice is spot on, but as an overarching conclusion, no, people, it's not just limited to people who've had mental or emotional trauma.
Right. All right. And last one. Don't you feel those saying investigation? That's the second time you put it in quotes there, Craig. Should be done a certain way, should then provide what that looks like in layman terms so everyone can really understand what it is skeptics look for. Well, I would say first and foremost, it's not just skeptics that are looking for it. It's any kind of person that values science over just random hobbyists. I would also say that there is plenty of material out there. There's plenty of literature out there, from parapsychology to all the other fields, biology, chemistry, physics, all that. There's tons of information on there about how to go about performing scientific experiments, what general guidelines. It really doesn't come down to us to do your job for you. If you want to incorporate science, then you need to do your due diligence and go look it up. We can offer advice. We do that between this show and the Three Tortured Souls show that we do and the various other things that we do. But this is how we got to where we are, because we constantly learn. We constantly read academic papers. We read books. We study this. We ask people that are experts in their field, what can we do? How can we do this? What's the best process? So there's plenty of information out there. And again, if they want to be an investigator, then they have to live up to that title that I said it before, they give to themselves. You know, so either you do it or you don't.
Yeah, any scientific paper has a section called material and methods, and the point of that is to be able to understand exactly what the researchers did and be able to replicate it. Now, scientific papers are a little different. Yes, you have to be versed in the language of it, but for the most part, yeah, people should be able to explain in layman terms what they did and why they did it, how they did it, and all that. Yes.
Yeah, that's a great place to go. I mean, that I didn't even think of that. That was good. That was good.
I like. There's also one of my favorite things. You don't see them. Well, I can't say you don't see them often. There's also places in publications where they talk about their limitations.
Yes.
And I think that's like, whenever I see that, I feel, and I don't know if I'm falling for it, but I feel like, they're really putting out there the limitations. I feel like I can trust a little better.
Yep.
What they're saying.
And I think we did that in the paper we did as well. It's like, here's why it's such a great paper, but here's where we fucked up or it's short.
Yeah.
You need to keep in mind as you read this and consider the results.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to wrap this up because we are over the 2-hour mark.
We're going to mummify this bit.
So, any announcements, guys? Tim, we'll start with you.
Once a month on a very
irregular,
statistically unpredictable day, I get together with 2 of my friends and we talk about science and paranormal and drink stuff and have a lot of fun and laugh. I would tell you when the next one's coming up, but I don't know.
Dave.
Same as Tim, and I'm going to say I'm going to be a big part of that problem of the irregular, because 2 things: the new job with the travel, and then we're trying to sell our house and buy a place in Atlanta, Georgia. So we got a lot going on. So we will try to stick to the first Wednesday of every month for Three Tortured Souls. If not, maybe we'll try to find a different day if it works for us. So
yeah.
Anyway, but that's about it right now. I have not committed to a whole lot of stuff. I do have a paper that I participated in with some other people as like a distant 3rd or 4th author that'll be coming out, I think, in the spring. So once that's ready to go, I'll talk about that.
Awesome. And I am also going to just stay the same thing they did, because I don't have anything scheduled for the rest of the year. Because
Holy shit.
I'm at the point where the projects that I already have scheduled have overwhelmed my schedule and I have no room to take on anything new. So I will be, besides doing a Friday night show and then maybe next month doing our Three Tortured Souls, that's probably it. I might occasionally pop onto somebody's live stream, but that's it for this year, because I have too much to finish up, deadlines and shit. So anyway, with that, everyone, thank you for hanging out with us for tonight. I appreciate it. And thank you, Dave and Tim, for hanging out tonight and having a nice, lively discussion. And hopefully everyone enjoyed it. Hopefully everyone learned something. Maybe you gained some experience points. Episode.
I got 2 more hours of experience. I'm going to chalk up, man.
Continuing education units.
Next week we'll have a show. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm going to see if I can get a guest on, but I'll let you know, like, or Wednesday or Thursday. That's usually when I get around to it. But otherwise, everyone, just have a great weekend, and remember, never stop learning. And we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, diddle diddle, here's a little riddle. Who's the best debunker? Is it Kenny Biddle? Oh, he's good, not just a little. Not at the bottom or even the middle. Strike a chord like a fiddle. Tasting the rainbow like a skittle. That's fragile and brittle. You can watch him take a problem and start to riddle the problem away. He does not play. He takes his job so seriously. He loves a challenge and won't turn you away. You're such a skeptic, he keeps those believers exposing the fake. It wouldn't take him long to find a needle in hay. Use a magnet there, damn it. Now take a drink of Kenny's specialty. Some may say that's not for me. To each their own, what it will be. Man, Kenny's such a skeptic, drinking skeptical tea. Like and subscribe, everybody turn notifications on. And go watch his show and forget about this song. Mr. Wizard or Bill Nye the Science Guy. Can you remember? You like Kenny better, so head to the Skeptical Help Bar and meet the bartender. Pick up a drink and relax, cause nobody does this better. Not even close, not even a little. He's the one and only Kenny Biddle.
And now we return you to our regular scheduled program, In Progress.